Welcome back to Blade HQ, everybody. Today's a very special day because I'm here with my friend Sarah.
Hi, George.
And we, as we always do, are talking sharp and pointy. Most notably, this guy right here, the Benchmade Bugout, which is the second best-selling knife in Blade HQ history.
And of all time, no? Or up there in the list?
I mean, I don't have full sales data for the entire world, but I have Blade HQs, and second best. Only behind the Boker Kalashnikov. And I can see why this thing's so popular.
Oh,
let me give you some specs on this knife.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So you can see why it might be so popular. We've got a CPM S30V blade.
Amazing.
FRN handles.
Love it, lightweight.
Lightweight, axis lock.
Gorgeous.
Works with the left-handed too.
Yep, ambidextrous.
Yep, 1.8 ounces.
Love it.
Super light.
Heck yeah.
Now my question to you is, does that sound like an outdoorsy, woodsy, hard use knife?
Off the bat, no.
It does not. And for a lot of people, since the get-go, they've been concerned about this. So I'm gonna see if I can catch this right here in focus. I'm just gonna squeeze the scales. You can see them ever so slightly bending.
Yep.
And bending isn't exactly the most inspiring thing in knives, but this is FRN. It's designed to have a little bit of flex in it.
Yeah.
And I think it would be worth taking it out and seeing if it can actually take some hard use.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think the flex is even the end of the world. I mean, you almost want your knife to have some flex. So
yeah,
it's
I'd rather
not
it flex than
right
break.
away.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna take it out, and just for fun, we're gonna bring along the Freek. So pretty much the older brother of the Bugout, you might say. But yeah, the construction on this, we have the Cerakote finish M4 on the blade.
Rock solid, super tough.
Axis lock, just like the Bugout. Got the G10 handle with the red liners. Super pretty.
And it's just a lot beefier than the Bugout as well.
Yeah.
Look how much just thicker and chunkier of a knife that is.
Yeah. And it's known to be rugged, so that's why we chose it, because you should be able to do all the things that we're doing with this and have no problem.
Yeah. So we're gonna see if the Bugout can run with the big boys, you know?
Heck yeah.
So let's head up the canyon.
All right, let's go.
We are here in the beautiful American Fork Canyon. Pardon the loud river and the breeze behind us, but we're gonna do some field testing. Are you excited?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This will be fun.
Yeah, so I get to use the Bugout, which came out of the video marketing library.
And I get to use George's Freek.
Yeah, so she picked the Freek because she's afraid of the Bugout, but I believe in the Bugout. I think it's gonna held up to everything we do to it here. Speaking of, these are the challenges we're gonna do. First, we're going to test the blade strength. How much, if we put pressure on the blade, is it likely to break? And so first of all, we're just gonna pound this into a log and try and bend the tip. Some people will do this for like carving spoons or whatever, but this is textbook abuse, like everything we're doing. Don't do this to your knife. But we're gonna do it today. We're gonna pound this into a log, test its tip. And then afterwards, we are moving over to these pieces of wood where we have staples. We're gonna dig the blade under the staple and pry it up, see if the blade can take it.
Yeah, and then after we do that with the blade, we're gonna work on the torsion of the lock. So then we're gonna use the same piece of wood and these ropes, and we're gonna shove the blade in there, work against the piece of wood, see if we can get that lock to budge. And then we're also gonna scrape this ferro rod against the back, see what kind of damage it can do.
Yep, and then as sort of the grand finale of them all, we are going to combine the two into the textbook way to abuse a folder, and that is batoning. So we have two pieces of wood, both with a pretty thick knot at the bottom. We're gonna see if we can baton through them. And then after we're done, we're gonna go back to these pieces of wood for one last try, and we're gonna try and baton against the grain. And we're gonna do it right here so that we're isolating the lock a little bit more.
Yeah.
These are all things that you shouldn't do with a folder, but we're gonna try it anyway in the name of seeing if this Bugout can take it. Let's party.
Let's do it.
Let's party!
All right, Sarah, for this first test, I'm just gonna take this knife, pound it like a nail into this wood, and see if I can pry a chunk of wood out or something.
All right.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, I see the blade, the blade is bending for
Here,
sure.
Julian, come over and get it from this angle. Like, that is a lot of bend in the blade. Look at that.
It's not doing anything.
I could probably break it, but yeah. I'll tell you what impresses me the most about this is it's more bend in the blade than in the handle. I know that one thing a lot of people were confused about or a little worried about is this plastic handle. This one's the CF Elite. But look, the handle has more stiffness in it than the blade does.
Yeah.
Now, once again, don't do this with your knife, but Bugout. Look at that. Perfectly straight afterwards.
Looks good to me.
Still runs nice and solid. It's a little easier to actuate without a glove on. Hold for glove.
Hey.
See, look at this. We are running as if nothing ever happened.
For as thin as that blade is, I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
But expected for the bug out.
Yeah, let's see how the Freek does.
All right,
All right.
I'm gonna beat it up.
I
as
hope
much
you
as
do.
I can.
That's why we're here today. Oh yeah.
That's in there. It's just moving the wood.
Pull hard. See how it goes.
The blade, you can see the blade a little bit moving,
But it's nowhere near as flexy as the bug out.
yeah, that's not going in there.
Look at that, you're just
The wood in
splitting the
half.
wood open.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
With how thick that blade is.
Here, let me
I
run the
didn't know
bug out
that.
in for comparison there. Blade thickness comparison. Yeah. The Freek's definitely the hard user, but I'm impressed that the bug out just took that in stride.
Yeah. From blade to handle, it was straight the whole time. It was not gonna bend.
Love it.
Reliable.
Let's see how we do some staples.
All right, let's do it.
All right, next up, you're gonna take the tip of your knife and you're gonna try to pull these staples out of this wood.
All right.
So, this is gonna look ugly.
One.
Come on, bug out, there's one.
Oh. Two.
There's two. And come on.
oh, what a
three.
sad noise. The blade on the metal.
So I was really impressed with the bug out. Like, it's got a bit of a dull in the tip, but seriously, hardly any damage at all.
Yeah, there's just a little bit on this one, but nothing that you couldn't sharpen out.
Or nothing you can send to Benchmade. Their
Yeah,
Life Sharp service would
exactly.
sharpen this up for you in an instant.
Yeah, we don't recommend you do this with your knives, obviously, but
If you do, we can take it.
Yeah.
Oh. What is this? Is this amateur hour? Come on. You gotta pull the staple for real. All right. All right, so let's do our next test.
Yep, let's go.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to tell you about the amazing Benchmade campaign we have right now. Listen, between you and me, the wall of your garage is really sad. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to bladehq.com, you're gonna pick yourself up a Benchmade knife, it's gonna serve you well for the rest of your life, and you're gonna get this free garage flag, which is gonna gussy up your garage wall and show the world how much better than them you are.
Why wouldn't you want one? I want one, he wants one. Go buy a knife.
So in the next test, we're gonna get some compound leverage against the lock.
Yep.
Should be a good time. So what I'm gonna do, y'all can see this, right?
I'm gonna stand over here.
Probably a good idea. Gonna move to this arm. Stronger right arm dominance. Here we go.
Oh,
I ain't cutting the rope.
No.
That's as hard as I can pull.
dang.
Look at that. I lost it in the I lost the tip in the wood.
That's a tough angle, though. And with
Yeah.
how much space you have between the rope and the wood.
Yeah, but you know, it put a lot of stress on the lock and the lock didn't care.
Yeah.
All right, try it with the Freek.
I don't know if I'm strong enough for this, George. Oh no, it came off. There we go. I hear it. I'm not strong enough, George.
Yeah, a twisted sisal rope is no joke.
It's going through, but I'm just not.
Oh, she's got it!
This looks so bad on my part.
No, you're fine.
You finish it off, because I know it'll make it through the rope.
Here we go.
There you go.
There we go. This might also be the scientifically proven worst way to cut a rope.
Yep,
But you know what? It tested the lock.
it worked.
All right, but we need these pieces of rope for the next thing with a ferro rod
Yeah.
because sisal rope makes straight tinder.
All right, let's cut it up.
All right, so for the next part, you're just gonna you're gonna cut yourself a few good little chunks of this twisted sisal rope like this,
Yep.
and you wanna get it nice and fluffy. Shout out to Pete from Cedric Canada Gear and Outdoors. This is what he does on his channel all day, testing edge retention.
Yeah.
But you know that, and then you come and fire!
Come on. It's not dry enough. I say you got the job done.
Did you get it wet?
No, I didn't do anything.
All right, well, we got an ember at least. All right, your turn.
All right, let me cut some of this rope. That should be fine.
Here she goes.
And I'd say it did a pretty good job.
Yeah, and one day we'll do a tutorial Tuesday on how to start a fire with a Ferro
I'll
rod.
be watching that, don't worry. But yeah,
Okay.
you can see on the back here, just a few little scratches to the coating, but
Cerakote.
it's gonna happen.
Yep. I like the scratches. It makes the knife look lived in,
Yeah,
used.
exactly. Its own form of patina.
Okay, well I think the lock can take whatever we throw at it.
Yeah.
Let's do some batoning.
All right.
So the last thing we're gonna do is batoning.
Yep.
So first you're gonna go with the grain through this piece of wood, and that should make you a bit of a platform.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna set this piece of wood on the top this way, and you're gonna try and baton through it.
All right.
And that way, this one might test the blade a little more, this one might test the lock a little more, but both of these are, let's be honest, the work of a fixed blade.
Yeah, exactly.
But today, I'm gonna put a less than 2 ounce folder to the job.
All right,
It's gonna be
let's see it.
so fun. Okay, here we go. Gonna put it there, grab our baton, and make sure we don't run into thumb studs.
Dang.
I ain't afraid of no knot.
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Okay.
no questions asked.
Yeah, but we're only halfway there. Now we gotta put this guy and keep it as close to the lock as you can, like that.
Is that good? Need a
Big
flat
balance is
surface.
the hard part of this one.
Oh, it's in there.
All right, here we go.
Get
Let's
it
finish
going.
it. I can hit a blade,
It's
can't
going.
I?
It's going.
You know what? I'm gonna come from the other side and try and meet it. There we go. So I really appreciate that less than 2 ounces, something you can carry every day, when in a hard position, can deal with a knotted piece of firewood.
Yeah.
It can deal with cross grain on treated plywood. Like there's obviously better tools, but man, how well did that hold up?
Would I rather have a fixed blade? Of course. But if I'm in a pinch and I have a bug out, I'll use it.
Yeah, sign me up.
Exactly.
All right, let's see how the Freek does.
Let's do it. All right, let's see what the Freek does, George. No way it's actually breaking the other piece of wood. It's already splitting it, look at that. That was easy, all right.
All right, well, this fight ain't over yet. Here's your chunk of wood.
Dang. Come on,
That pressure treated wood is no joke.
I just need to balance it and it'll be fine.
Yay! Hey, you know what?
That was
It
easy.
split. We made it.
It was.
Well, I think the Bugout did pretty well, and so did the Freek. But
Yeah.
let's head back to the studio and talk about it.
Let's go.
Well, that was a lot of fun, Sarah. I enjoyed it. I was
too.
thoroughly impressed with the Bugout, though.
I know, it really showed up. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I thought that it would not bend nearly as much in the tree stump as I was prying on it.
I know.
And one thing I thought was crazy is how much the blade bent instead of the handle.
It was wild. If you weren't us, it looked like that thing might have cracked off. But knowing that we know the Bugout as well as we do, I knew it wasn't gonna crack. But man, that thing was bending. It was wild.
Yeah, and the handles, they had a little flex in them,
They did,
but it was really no problem.
yeah, good flex. Like we said earlier, I think it helps in those situations. But
Yeah.
the Freek, this thing didn't budge. I mean, I was cracking the wood off of the stump or whatever we had the wood in before the knife would have ever done anything that you wouldn't have wanted it to. So
Yeah, and I think it's
No
just, it's a
problem.
thicker steel, it's a tougher
Yeah.
steel. It's just gonna take more.
yeah, and these G10 scales are not gonna move. I mean, they're solid. So
Thick, solid, all the good things.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing I noticed, where I think the Bugout might have even outperformed the Freek, was in batoning cross.
Yeah.
Where we took those planks from the pallet and we were going through. Just the fact that this has
I
a
agree.
thicker blade, I was having a hard time splitting those grains.
Yeah.
But that thinner blade on the Bugout, right through.
Yeah, it definitely helped. And I am no extreme weightlifter, so I don't have the strength behind it that you might or someone else, but
It's not strength, it's just weight.
all right. Don't do that to yourself. But
Thanks.
yeah, I mean, obviously having a thicker blade stock is gonna make a whole world of a difference when you're batoning through things.
Yeah, you kind of have to fight with physics on that one. The thicker it is, the harder time it's going to have splitting.
Yeah.
And that's why thicker isn't necessarily better because ultimately the knife's job is to cut, not to pry. And if it's too thick, it's not going to cut super well.
Yeah, and I don't think any of the markings or things that did happen to these blades or handles were anything that isn't just typical normal wear and tear if you were to actually use your knife consistently.
Yeah, so I think on both knives, the staples gave us a bit of chipping near the tip.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But that'll happen to any edge. Like if you grab that Bark River Crusader, it's like a 1/3 inch thick 3V. You'll still chip that edge if you're abusing it.
But
So don't abuse your knives, and I think the Bugout can take it. Now, I will say, I would probably pick the Freek for a camping situation like this where I might be splitting wood, simply because I want a bit thicker of a handle.
yeah,
But like, for everyday use, I work in an office, sign me up for the
the
Bugout.
Bugout's fine. Yeah, I agree. If you're on a work site or you're doing some pretty heavy work at home, maybe you do home improvement stuff, I think the Freek is definitely the better option if you need to be cutting a little more rugged things. But yeah, I mean, I would carry the Bugout on me all the time.
Yeah, and I might carry the mini Bugout too.
I know, honestly.
Basically
Same build
the
out.
same. Yeah,
Exactly.
I like that. But
It's great.
is there anywhere that says you can't have both?
I don't think so.
I own both a Freek and a Bugout, and I love them both. I probably carry the
Exactly.
Freek more often because I espouse the ideal of I'm a tough guy, even though I wear shirts that look like this. This is not a
nice
tough
shirt.
guy shirt.
That's okay.
This is an office guy
It's a
shirt.
mentality, George.
A mentality.
It's a
Yep.
word.
But the Bugout, I think, is a formidable opponent of any hard work you may have.
Oh yeah, we put it to the test and it definitely did what it needed to do. So I have all my trust in it now.
Yeah. So next time we do hard use, you get the Bugout.
Yeah, we'll trade.
It'll be fun.
Because now I trust it.
Yep. And if you've been holding out on the Bugout, just head over to bladehq.com. We've got a whole slew of Bugouts in a million different colors.
Yep.
And pick yourself one of these up, and you'll quickly catch the disease of Bugout, the Bugout bug.
Absolutely. And if you did want a Freek to pair with your lovely Bugout, you can get that at Blade HQ as well.
Yep. With that, we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.